Hello everyone, it's me, Aaron, and welcome to another episode of Game Room, the show on this channel where I just geek out about video games. And it's not just any old episode of Game Room this week, because you see, this whole month we are celebrating Persona Month. That's because the Persona franchise is my favorite video game franchise of all time, and this week, after waiting a long time, Persona 5 has finally come out. And I know that I have mentioned how long I've had to wait before, but seriously, at the beginning of this game, it starts off by saying that they are currently celebrating the 20th anniversary of Persona, and I stopped and I did the math on that. It's been 8 years since Persona 4 came out, which means that 4 games came out within the span of 12 years, meaning Persona comes out with a brand new installment roughly every 3 years, and we had to wait more than double that for this one. We had to wait almost triple that length for Persona 5 to come out. So today I'm here just to give you my first impressions. This is not a review, partly because this is a 100+ hour long game, and when you have a job and a YouTube channel that you have to keep up, you can't exactly stay home and hammer in 100 hours within the span of a week. I did that when Persona 4 came out, and I didn't have either of those things. However, I can't do that with Persona 5, so at the moment in the game, I'm about 14 hours in. I just beat the first boss, just beat the first dungeon, just got to the real big first turning point in the story, so I'm going to talk about my initial impressions up to this point in the game. So again, this is not a review. I will be doing a review of this, though, much later in the month, probably closer to May, when I have, hopefully, fingers crossed, finally defeated this game. So I'm not going to be giving out any kind of a score here. I'm not going to be coming in and really analyzing every single little detail of this game. I'm just going to talk about what I have seen so far as a Persona fan. And just to warn you, there are going to be some slight spoilers up to this point in the game, up to the end of the first dungeon. So if you have not reached that and you want to be completely spoiler free, then I understand tuning out now. However, I'm not going to go that far into spoilers because, in case you guys haven't heard, Atlus, the company that puts out the Persona games, they have put a massive ban on any kind of spoilers for this game. They will not let people upload videos that are longer than an hour and a half long. They will not let anybody stream or show any video footage of this game after the July 7th point in this game, which has me really wondering what the heck is going to happen on July 7th in this game. I am in early May at this point, so I'm getting a little bit nervous about what's going to go down, because I gotta say, just the stuff that they're letting us talk about, just the stuff that they're letting us show up until this point is huge, shocking stuff. But not only are they saying they don't want you streaming this stuff, they are saying that if you upload anything that takes place after that date in the game, they will ban your channel. They say they will put a copyright claim on your channel so that they get all the money off those videos, and they might even ban the channel. Oh my god, Atlus, I'm not going to go too far into this, but do you understand how the video gaming community works these days? Heck, do you even understand the entire concept of Persona? This whole idea of these games is that you come together with other people and you gain strength from your interactions with other people, so you're telling people not to go on social media and interact with other people over a thing that we love together. Sorry, putting that aside. Gotta get that out of my head. We're here today to talk about how incredibly good this game is, and that is the first thing that I have to say about Persona 5. I loved Persona 3, and when Persona 4 came out, listen, Persona 4 ended up becoming my favorite game of all time, but for the first day or two of playing that game, I was sitting there like, oh, this is different. And I don't know if I like different. I don't know if I like change. I don't know, this is not what I was used to in the previous game. Feeling a little bit disappointed in this one. It's still good, but there's some of the things that they did to change the battle system I'm not enjoying that much. I don't feel the tension that I felt in the previous game because they took out the whole getting tired system. And the characters, I don't know, I'm not connecting with these characters like I connected with the previous characters. As I said, I went on to love every single thing about that game, and it became my favorite game of all time. But I bring this up because I thought that was probably going to happen when I started playing Persona 5, because this game, as I said, I had to wait almost 3 times as long to play this game as I had to wait to play Persona 4, So I was like, my expectations have been raised so high at this point, there is no way that this game can possibly live up to that. I can't believe I'm saying this, but this game right now is living up to that. Doesn't mean I want to wait 8 years again for Persona 6. I'm just saying, I am stunned that right off the bat, I am impressed by every single thing in this game. First off, just talking about the characters, like I said, when I started playing Persona 3, there were a couple of characters in there in which I was like, they're alright, and it wasn't until I started bonding with them and started connecting with them that I was like, oh, now I see what makes these characters special. Now I see why I like these characters. And with Persona 4, same thing. In the beginning, I was like, these characters are goofy and kind of cute, I guess, but, I'm not forming that connection like I did with the characters from 3, and then as the game went along, I started forming the connections, and I was really just blown away by how much I ended up enjoying every single character in that game. In Persona 5, right off the bat, every single character that I interact with, I am in love with. Every character that I interact with, I am like, you're my favorite character, you're my favorite character, you're my favorite character, you're all my favorite character. I can't choose a favorite among you. Like, your best friend in this game, Ryuji, he's this kid he's kind of a punk, he's kind of a delinquent, he's kind of a goof-off. He reminds me a little bit of a combination of Yosuke and Kanji from Persona 4. And I was like, okay, well, I've seen characters like you before, and I know how this goes. You're gonna be kind of wacky and silly, but in the end, I'll end up liking you. The end came like maybe half an hour later, because instantly they started revealing really heartbreaking stuff about this guy. That's the thing that has always made me love the Persona games, or at least has always made me love them since Persona 3, which is this whole social link system, or as it's called in this game, the Confidant system, which is this system where you basically just bond with other people. You gain strength for fighting in the dungeons by interacting with people outside of the dungeons. You will meet someone and you will start to connect with them. You will start to learn their storyline. You will start to find out more information about them, get involved in their lives, and the more involved in their lives that you become, and the more you learn of their story, the stronger your personas are in the dungeon. And every single character that you run into will always have a really sad, just heartbreaking story. But it typically takes a while to get to that point. But with Ryuji, like I said, very light spoilers, but they reveal real early on, this is a kid who he used to be a great student. He was the star of the track team, but then this teacher who wanted the volleyball team to succeed came in, basically destroyed the track team, found out all this personal information about this kid, started leaking it across the school, and even got his leg busted so the star of the track team could no longer run. Oh my gosh, I was just heartbroken for this kid instantly. Or An, who turns out to be the Lover's Arcana, and the Lover's Arcana in all the previous games tended to kind of be my least favorite character. I'm not saying I didn't like them, but they always kind of were like, well, Rise in Persona 4, she was, a little bit too ditzy, a little bit too bubbly for me. And then Yukari from Persona 3, she was a little bit too, standoffish and jerkish. And I was like, all right, cool, well, that's your character and you have a sad backstory, so I understand that. But, it took me a while to warm up to these characters. An, right away, is the most sensible person here. She's the most caring person here. Her relationship with her friends and what we see happening to their friends, it was all just heartbreaking right away. This game did an amazing job of getting you instantly attached to every single one of these characters. And as I said, it gets heartbreaking, and that is something that really surprised me. The Persona games have always been dark. Even Persona 4, which was the most upbeat and fun Persona game I've ever played, it was still about you trying to solve a murder case. It still involved students dying almost immediately into that game. And then Persona 3, which was just total emo city, the way you unlocked your power in that game was by shooting yourself in the head. That's some pretty dark stuff. This game is the darkest one of them all. This is darker than almost any video game I've seen because the villains in here, the crises in here, the things that you have to confront in this game, they're very real stuff. I mean, there were real issues that got brought up in Persona 3. There have been real issues that got brought up in all the Persona games. But, like, the stuff that you fought against in Persona 3, it was, people just being lazy. It was people who just didn't care anymore. It was people just being too emo. It was this mentality that everyone was getting. That's not really something you can exactly fight against. It was more of just a commentary on the state of the world. And it's like, okay, I understand that. And then Persona 4, you were fighting a serial killer, and it's like, okay, serial killers do exist in the real world, but they're not that common of a thing. In here, the people you are fighting, the people you have to confront are real villains. They're people who are pulling this horrible stuff every single day. Like, your main character is forced to go and live in this far-off city because he is on parole. And he's on parole because he saw a woman getting attacked one night. He went up to try and stop the guy from attacking this woman. And then that guy basically just told the cops that it was all your fault, that you attacked him. And no one would believe you because you're a kid, and no one would believe the woman. They just believe this guy. It's like, that's stuff that happens every single day in this world. Or the first big villain you have to fight against. Because in this game, what you have to fight against, the dungeons that you go into, are basically portals into this person's soul. You find someone who is evil, and you have to then basically go into a dungeon that is a metaphor for how they feel on the inside, and then you have to go in there and steal their evil thoughts away, so that way their conscience can come out and force them to admit to all the crimes that they've committed. The first guy you have to do that to is the volleyball teacher, who he is a guy who is physically abusing his students. He's sexually abusing all the female students. He is going around trying to destroy students' lives by making them live in fear of him because he used to be a big hotshot athlete and now he's just trying to relive those glory days. And here's the thing. As you try and get people to come out and talk about this and get people to try and put him on trial, no one wants to do it because A, they're afraid of him, or B, they know he's doing it, but they don't care because he's good for the volleyball team. He is actually getting their team to go to the nationals, and they're like, yeah, he's kind of destroying our student body, but who cares? He's going to get us a trophy. And I was like, dude, I grew up in the South where football was king, and I remember hearing so many stories about messed up stuff going on with the football team that no one wanted to talk about because they wanted the football team to succeed, or because everybody was brainwashed into thinking it's okay, that's just the way it is. It is crazy to me to think that a game with a magical talking cat is one of the most real games I've ever played in my life. This game is talking about some really deep stuff, and they have no shame in it. This is one of the boldest games I've ever played. And it's not just me who thinks this. I know you guys think this too, because I've been playing this game on Twitch, and there is a moment where this teacher has tortured one of his poor students so much that he drives her to her breaking point. And what happens in this game? I was playing it on Twitch, and I remember looking over at the stream in the chat, and you guys just lost it. It was just nothing but, oh no, over and over again. And I was like, holy cow, I've never seen a reaction like that from a chat room on Twitch before. This has been such an emotional roller coaster for everybody. And I gotta say, I absolutely love the gameplay in here too. I love the previous couple of Persona games, but I would go ahead and criticize that the dungeons were really, really basic. The dungeons were nothing special at all. They were very just flat. They were randomly generated, so there was a little variety every time you went into them. But aside from that, there was nothing really special to them. They were just straight lines and curves and opening doors. That was it. Here, these dungeons are huge and imaginative, and they're a big maze that can loop around if you find secret entrances that go back to the entrance, and there are save rooms that you can jump back and forth between, so that way you can make slow progress every single day going through it. And there are some really great puzzles that you have to solve to go through there, and the way that they have the chests just kind of sprinkled around, but some of the chests have lockpicks, and you have to create the lockpicks back at home in order to open it. This is a game that really makes you think about how you're going to go through the dungeon. And I know that a lot of people who have never played the Persona games are listening to this and being like, yeah, well, you know, a lot of video games do that. Yeah, they do. However, the Persona games were not one of them. So I'm kind of just applying this game for finally going, oh my gosh, the one weak spot in the Persona games has now kind of stepped up to the level of all the other games. I mean, I just finished going through this giant castle, And there is a great moment where you have to sneak around all these guards, then climb up this spiraling staircase, and I was getting to a point in which I was like, oh my god, it's been so long since I found a save room. How on earth am I going to go up against the boss now? I need a way to get to a save room. I found a secret entrance that took me all the way immediately directly back to the entrance of the castle. It was some Dark Souls stuff in there in which I just opened up a shortcut right from the top of the castle down to the bottom. Again, I know this is not something unique to video games now, but it was certainly unique to the Persona franchise, so I'm glad to see that they have finally caught up on this. And they have brought back from the previous games this negotiation system where you could actually talk to the demons and convince them to join you and become your personas. And I gotta say, in Persona 2, that was one of my least favorite things about the game. I hated trying to talk to these demons and get them to give me their powers. It drove me nuts. The conversations never made any sense, and they just gave you like little items or points that you then had to convert so that you could then use those points to summon some demons from someone else. It just, it was so just not fun. It really turned me off of that game. However, in this one, it's simple, and it actually makes sense, and it works. They took the thing that I hated the most from the early Persona games and actually made it kind of a fun mechanic of this one. In this game, in order to get the demons to join your side and become your personas, all you gotta do is just go up to them, knock them all down, and when you've knocked them all down, they will ask you 2 questions. The first question doesn't matter at all. The first question is just there so that you can try and tell what their personality is, and I gotta say, I've actually been pretty good at. They didn't make it really easy, but they made it so that you could pretty much figure out what the heck the next answer should be in order to obtain that persona. So kudos to you on taking the thing that I was most nervous about you bringing back and actually making it something that I enjoy doing in this game. And there's one other thing that I really have to applaud this game on, which is just the way that it tells the story. The way that they are telling the story is one of the most unique things that I have ever seen in a video game, because this game starts off in the present. And in the present, it opens up with you actually getting caught by the police. You have become famous over the last couple months as a phantom thief, and everybody is talking about you. Everyone is looking for you. It opens up with you being caught by the cops. You are then taken into custody. You are taken into interrogation. You are beaten. You are bruised. And then your attorney comes in and goes, listen, I gotta get the whole story from you. And then it flashes back to the beginning of the game, and then you start actually living your story. But then every time that there is a major beat, anytime that you form a new connection with someone, it then flashes forward to the present, in which your attorney basically sums up why this person is going to be important and kind of gives you hints about where the story is going to go. This is actually a genius way of telling the story. I've never seen this in a game, and I am loving it, because every single time that flashes forward to the present, I'm like, oh man, some big stuff is about to go down now, and you know that what you were doing in the past really is going to affect your future, which is kind of the entire point of these Persona stories. And speaking of forming connections with other characters, the thing that I loved the most, the thing that made Persona 3 and Persona 4 so unique and made them form this huge fan base, was social links. That was the thing that got everybody interested in these games. It was, as I mentioned earlier, that ability to go out there, form a connection with someone, and as you progress your social link, your personas become more powerful. The deeper you get involved in this person's story, the stronger they make you. In this game, I was really nervous because they said that there weren't going to be social links, but there was going to be something just like social links, and I was like, okay, what's your definition of just like social links? Because I love the social links, and if your definition of just like social links is something completely different from social links, I'm gonna be nervous. Yeah, you just have social links in here. Your social links are exactly the same. They just call them confidants now. However, there is one thing that they made different, and it is a huge improvement. In Persona 4 Golden, they added something where every single time that you leveled up your social link with a party member, they would gain extra abilities in combat. Now, in Persona 5, whenever you level up your social link with anybody, they give you a new ability. I love that because the whole point of social links, or in this case confidants, is that they're supposed to give you strength. And what that has always meant in the past is they would make your persona stronger. Here in this game, they just make you stronger, period. They will allow you to get better items. They will allow you to heal your party more. They will allow you to give experience points to your party when they're not in your party. They will allow you to perform additional moves in combat. There are so many things that they allow you to do in this game that they did not allow you to do in the previous games, and it's all through these confidants. They have made a thing where you don't just want to level up your confidants so that way your personas get stronger. You want to level up your confidants so that way you can be OP. If you make friends with everybody and you help out everybody in the town, you are going to be the boss of this game. But yeah, that is it for now. Those are just my opening thoughts about this game. I am loving it. I am having a blast. I am going to come back in, make a review of this game when I have finally finished it. Although, as I said, Atlus is not allowing me to show you anything after July in this game. So you're probably just going to see the exact same footage that you've been watching today. But I hope you guys enjoyed. And remember, if you guys want to join me as I play through this game, or at least play up till July 7th, then make sure that you join me at twitch.tv/Professor Thorgy. I've been doing this almost every single day this month, and I've actually been having a blast. I'm actually loving getting to hang out with you guys in the chat. It's been a ton of fun, so make sure that you stop on by. It's a good old time. Thanks again, everyone, and remember, this whole month is Persona Month, so in addition to the usual geeky fun stuff we do, like talk about comics or do movie reviews, I'm also just going to be talking about Persona. I'm going to be listing off my favorite characters, doing reviews of the anime and of the movies. I'm just going to be touching on everything from the world of Persona, so if you want to see any of that, then make sure that you hit that subscribe button, follow me on Twitter and Tumblr at Professor Thorgy, and share this video around the web. It is the best way to help my channel grow. Thanks again, everyone. Come back next time.